Hello guys, today we're going to talk about how men trying to embarrass and control women. This is a second time when I'm trying to make this video, and the first time my microphone decided to dead, and it just very I'm just start to cry because it was a long video and I spent a lot of time to make it. So today we're gonna talk about this again because I think it's gonna be really interesting subject for a lot of women, because understanding how men try and embarrass women and control gonna give you a lot of energy to survive in this world, believe me. I hope this time my microphone not gonna decided to that. So guys, first of all I want to talk about shame and how shame is used as a tool of control. How men of the centuries trying to control women using shame, and I think it's very smart position and a very smart tool, because women they are emotional, and if we go back then most of men used a word like a witch. So they're trying to control women by calling them a witch. That was really bad. That was like a shame. That was embarrassing to be a witch, to know something, to having knowledges about this world. And now they're using another word. It's a whore. Men still trying to embarrass women and still trying to control women by using shame. So, if a woman feel guilty, she's easier to control. If you feel guilty by being beautiful, by being pretty, by being sexy, by being, smart, if you feel guilty, you become so easier to manipulate, you become so easier to control. And my life was a really interesting case when I met men on the Tinder, when I met some men on Tinder, and we date. That was the second date, and he asked me what I want. He asked me about my standards, and I think this man, this is kind of like a typical man. He was living in Europe, and he was thinking that all women supposed to be free. And I think and he's like, you just write down on Tinder something really interesting. I'm like, what? What's in your bio? You write that only relationship with financial support. I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, I was thinking you're a prostitute. I just looked at him like this, because that was very obvious that he just wanted to embarrass me right now for wanting to have financial support. I think for me, having financial support, it's the basic thing that men can give women. It's the basic thing, because another thing, it's attention, it's love, it's taking care. How you're supposed to take care of a woman? You're not giving her money. I mean, what are you gonna do? No, how? How you're gonna to buy her food, clothes? Know how. For me that was the basic things. I just write it down because I didn't want to, wasting my time on some students, on some guys, for fun. I just didn't want to waste my time for fun. And I am even worse than prostitute, because those women gonna sleep with you just for money, but I'm not gonna sleep with you even just for your money. So you need to give me more than money, because money it's not enough. In a real relationship, money it's something that basic. It comes like something basic. You take care of women, that's it. But if you want to have this woman, you need to show her your intentions. Give her more than money, because money might give every man, literally. I just never hide anything. I always telling about my intention, about my something that I want. I don't like to hide something. And the minute he's like, well, you mean you just, I was thinking you're a prostitute. What do you mean? And he's like, well, you just write down went to a relationship with financial support. And I'm like, yeah, and yeah, I want a relationship with financial support. And he's like, but it's like normal women not gonna want money or something else. That the minute I literally understand that he's trying to embarrass me for just wanting things, for having standards. And this is really crazy, guys, that Men trying to embarrass women for being free, for not having any standards, and trying to embarrass women for having standards. Another thing is the myth of purity. I just write everything down to not forget about something. So the myth of purity, which is so funny. I'm gonna talk about this, but why it's the myth? Technically, virginity doesn't exist. You see, technically virginity doesn't exist because we all have our period. If you're gonna be a real virgin, you would never have any period. So that's technically it doesn't exist. But the guys have this, a type of mindset believing that if a woman never had any relationship with men, never had any intimacy, so which is mean she's gonna belong to me, she's gonna be only mine. You guys have some experience, share with your experience. Did you fell in love to your first boyfriend or girlfriend? Doesn't matter. I don't think it's really working like this, because I met so many people that told me that their first time was the horrible time. And I thinking people, mostly men, trying to make this thing very, very special. You become more close when you talk about yourself, when you talk about your personality, your things that hurt you. When you really open your heart to someone, that's more intimate than anything, than touching someone. So the myth of purity and reality doesn't exist, but I thinking most of cases because of movies, people start think like being untouchable. It's very, very important. Using the myth of purity, by using this myth, men was controlling women by centuries, and there was a long time when men controlled women, trying to embarrass her for not being pure, for not being innocent. And at the same time, men, they were never innocent. They were never, there was nothing like this, about men. I could never tell something like this, So the centrist, men trying to embarrass women for not being pure, which is actually so funny. She's pure and innocent even if she have some intimacy, because it doesn't matter, because she burned as a life, as a source of life, because only women might create this life. Originally, the only human here, it's women. I was telling this a long time. The only human here on this earth, it's women. Men, they were created by women. It's her mutation, So technically, original human, it's women. Women have a part of energy to create a life. Women, it's a source of life, So we are pure. It doesn't matter how many partners we have. It doesn't matter. But men, I think mostly for men, it's really working, because they cannot have a lot of partners at the same time. For them, it's very hard. Even if they got a prostitute, they cannot have intimacy with every girl. They choosing one of them. Every time they choosing one of them. Men, they cannot have intimacy with a lot of girls at the same time. They're not the way how they talk about themselves. They never act that way. They actually fell in love very, very fast, and they trying to choose one girl. Women always pure, and we are always all pure. We cannot be nasty or something else, which is mean that if you're gonna sleep with men, you're nasty girl, like something wrong with you, because something wrong with men, because men making women nasty. And that's, I think men now, they're trying to build this mindset that working against them, this type of mindset working against you. There is no logical sense, because we're all humans, we cannot making people nasty. It's the same why a lot of Muslim guys, they're so homophobic, because for them sleeping with men, it's embarrassing. I see how it's really working, not only if we're gonna talk about men, and I think if we're gonna talk about gay men, it's really working. Like sleeping with men, it's embarrassing because men making everyone nasty. But if we're gonna talk about lesbians, they're never gonna be mad. They're not gonna be homophobic. For lesbians, it's like, oh, it's okay, it's good. If we're gonna talk about lesbians. They're never gonna be nasty, and they're never gonna be a prostitute, which is mean, because women cannot make nasty another woman, you know. So you become nasty only by sleeping with men. I think this kind of mindset working against you guys. Literally, you have to think about this. You cannot be you cannot make someone nasty. You cannot be nasty. You just touch people, you love people, you like people, that's it. All people here, and we all exist to love each other, that's it. We all exist to have love, to have fun with each other, to learn something from each other, that's it. It's no point. What's the point? What's the point to control how many partners have a woman? The more options you have, the more partner you had, the more experience you have, the more mature you become as a woman and as a man, doesn't matter. That's why having options, having a lot of partners, actually it's very good, you know, because you become more mature. You know how to choose men that gonna like you, gonna love you, you know how to choose a women that gonna be mature, they're gonna be really good, for you. People, they're not just good, they can be good for you. And the more people you know, the more people you get to know, the more experience you have in this life, the more easier become this life for you. And I see it very obvious because 3 years ago I just what I did, I just sit in my house. I never leave my house. I never go on a dates. I refuse to date someone. I was afraid of men mostly because I was afraid that what if I make a wrong choice? And in this life, only if you have a lot of options and only if you have a lot of experience, you might survive. This life become much more easier for you. Another thing that I really like, it's labeling women as a bad or unworthy if they don't follow male expectation. So mostly we might hear it when women have her own plans, when women have her own career, and when women have some social media, have some, OnlyFans, something like this. And for me, I think people, they have a right to have freedom. They all have a right to a body. All women have right to a body. But I know for man's ego, it become dangerous when women have her own career, especially when she got knowledges to use her pretty privilege. Because when you're beautiful, how I understand it, I was judgmental when I was a teenager, but when I become older, now I see, guys, you have nothing in this life. Only you have, it's your knowledges. If you're pretty, if you're beautiful as a woman, you need to use it to get everything you want. And that's how pretty privilege work. Because you're beautiful for a while. It's not gonna be so long. You need to use it as much as you can. That's it. In this world, it's very hard to survive. So if you're pretty, it's become easier for you. You need to use it as much as you can to get everything you want. And believe me, you might get more than you think. Believe me. How men trying to embarrass women and control them by making some funny comments about your about your look, about how you dress. It might be some comments like this, like, why are you dressed like that? Are you trying to get attention? Or why are your makeup it's so bad? A good girl wouldn't wear that. You look so cheap, or you look like a prostitute, you look like a whore. And it's all the same, because for women mostly, if you're a man and you never know, but for women mostly, getting attention is so important. It's something that making us more beautiful. For me, for example, I always make makeup. I always do makeup. I always do my nails done, my hair done. It doesn't matter if I'm sick, if I'm feeling bad. It doesn't matter if I'm gonna be married, if I'm gonna have some relationship. I'm always doing this. Why? For women, having attention, it's like having free energy. That's how we're feeding. That's how we become more beautiful, more pretty, have more energy, more ambitious. When I'm feeling bad or depressed, what I do, just put makeup on, do my nails done, do my hair done, trying to look 100% wearing very, I just dress up, overdressing. I like to do that, and going on a walk on my big city, in the big city, and I just see how people look at me. Some people make me compliments, and that just give me a lot of energy. That's why for women it's very important to have a lot of options, a lot of men around you, even if you're not dating them, you don't even know them, you don't even see them, doesn't matter. To get compliments, to get attention, to get flowers or gifts, that's very important for women. For men, of course, it's not important. You're not gonna understand women's psychology, how it's work. For a lot of men it's very, very hard to understand, and it's, of course, they're gonna scare them, because they're gonna afraid to lose you in the relationships, they're gonna afraid to lose you. That's why a lot of men, they trying to make women look ugly. The more you date some men, the more you look ugly, and they find some excuses like, you look more beautiful without makeup. I mean, literally, really, because I'm not putting makeup because I'm thinking that I'm not beautiful. Of course I know that I'm beautiful. I just put in makeup because I want to look more beautiful. I want to look, you know, you know what I mean. It's not because I'm thinking that I'm ugly. Of course not. We're using makeup as a tool to get what we want, as a tool to be more shine, to look more shining. That's what we do. Because the more I look good, the more I feel I'm very confident. The more confidence I feel. If I look like, some dude, I don't know, if I are wearing some pants, something like, doesn't really fit me, I feel so insecure. I don't know, it feels so bad. Another part is emotional abuse that men like to use. When they telling you that you're overreacting and you need to calm down, that you too much or you're too emotional, that you'll end up alone if you keep thinking like this or something, or you keep doing something. Men don't want women who make more money than them. So emotional abuse, it feels so bad, because if you like someone, you love someone, you have a relationship with someone, you depend on them emotionally, first of all, and after financially maybe, and physically maybe, if you really like them, if you're obsessed with them. So when you depend on someone emotional, of course those type of words gonna affect your mind, affect your body. If someone telling you that you're overreacting, or you something like you get something so seriously, it's emotional abuse, because people or men that really likes you would never tell you something like this. And I see how men trying gaslighting women by calling them emotional, and he's never gonna do this. He's never gonna tell you something like this. If he really likes you, he gonna afraid to hurt you, he gonna afraid to make you upset. That's how it feels like when someone likes you. They afraid to hurt you, afraid to hurt your ego, your heart, everything. They would never tell you that it's your fault because you're overreacting. So if someone tells you you'll end up alone if you keep thinking something, thinking like that, or if you keep doing something, mostly what I tell don't worry, I would never be alone, because men are so easy to get. And men don't want women that make more money than them. And it's really true, because not because they don't like, just because for men, they feel unworthy if they cannot take care of someone. If they cannot take care of women, they would feel unworthy. That would just something subconsciously. They would never tell you this, but subconsciously they understand that they cannot take care of you, and for them it's very, very hard, because if they cannot take care of women, they cannot give her something more. And money is something basic that, like I said, something basic that all men supposed to give women. And if they cannot do this, what they gonna do? That's why I don't understand women that have a lot of money when they date students, when they date broke men that have nothing, because it's always end so bad, because they do not feel worthy enough. They feel unworthy with you. If women make more money, she's supposed to found someone that make more money than her. If you make more money, really, you need to find someone that make more money than you. Why? Because the only way to become richer, find someone, talking with someone that's richer than you. That's how you get new experience, new knowledges. He might helps you something. If you're gonna date men that do not achieve what you achieve already, not on that level that never works. Because what they gonna teach you? How to become poor? What they gonna give you? I mean nothing. They're not gonna give you anything, because they didn't achieve those things. I think for women it's very, very important to deal with men that more mature than you in everything, that have more knowledges, that more that learn something more smart than you. The only way to become more, to growing, is deal with people that know something more. I'm 24 and I cannot deal with men that in my age, or even like 27. I don't see any sense. What they gonna teach me? Last time I met man, he was entrepreneur, he was 32, and for me it was already so young, because I just really used to date men that very, very old, I mean like 40, 45. He was young, but he was entrepreneur, and the way how he talk with people, that feels very good. Things that he said to me just for one day, trying to teach me how to run business, and I learned so many things from him. How could I learn those things from men that did not achieve anything until. So there is no sense, there is no point to deal with people that cannot give you anything. The only way for women when you're young to become someone, to achieve something in your life, it's having a relationship with people that achieve it already, that have more than money, that powerful enough. I see the more men powerful, the more they would never expected you to be good girl, to be pure, or to be innocent, doesn't matter. They doesn't have any, a big list of their expectation. The more men mature, the more men smart, the more men powerful, the more they rich, they would never expect women to be perfect. They would never expect someone to be perfect. They never judge anyone. It's so easy to talk with those people. So easy, believe me, it's so easy. When men have nothing to give, when they have a big list of expectation, they expect women to be pure, they expect women to be, look like a model, supermodel, expect women to be like healthy, not have bad habits, just be loyal, having a good family, come from a good family, being intelligent, having education, and all that. For what? Because they have nothing to give you, and they have nothing. They have nothing, and they try to find someone that gives them something. When men have everything, believe me, if something bad with your reputation, they're gonna clean your reputation. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal for them. They're gonna buy every magazine, everything. They're gonna bought all information about you. If they're gonna find something, they never expect you to be a good girl. Never gonna judge you. The way how you earn money, the way how you do those things, how to live this life, because they know how to survive. They know already. They go through all those hard things, all those hard situationships those in his life. They know how hard it is to achieve something in this life. They know they would never judge anyone here. But men that have nothing, that never achieve anything, they just lying on the bed, they don't do anything, they would always judge every woman to just for desire to have something, to get something. Look at the women that married to very powerful and very rich men. Look at those women, and they're not perfect. I mean, look at the Melania Trump. She's a very beautiful woman, but you don't know who she is. So a lot of women that marry rich men that now happy live with them, you would never know about her reputation because it's all clean up. It's all clean. You would never know. And men that powerful enough, for them, they're not literally take care about what people think about you. They care about their feelings to you. They care about if they really like you, who you are, your personality. It's not about your reputation, not about your body count, because your body count, it's the same. It's all about that men cannot take seriously women, because just imagine if you're a woman, you might understand that we like some men, we never think about his body count, we never think about how many men he had, how many women he had, how many relationships he had, what hardship or what situation he gets through. We always think about him, his personality, who he is, what kind of person he is, because we take men seriously. But why, when men take women seriously, he always think about his feelings to her. He always think about who she is, what kind of person she is. It doesn't matter how many men she had in her life, doesn't matter her body count or something, that stupid thing. When I date men that powerful, they never ask this question. They never ask this question because something that was a past, that your past, for me, it's not important because we're living in the present, we're living in the future. Our future, that's what important for me. Your past not important for me. It doesn't matter who you are, what you've done in your life. It doesn't matter for me. And I'm sitting in front of him with my really clean reputation because all my life just sitting at home and not do anything. People that never do anything, they have a clean reputation. If you not achieve anything in your life, you have a clean reputation. Of course, you're gonna have a good reputation. As long as you try, as long as you work hard, as long as you're trying to get something, achieve something, you're so ambitious, of course there will be some thing in your life that gonna be so hard to get. They're gonna be some part of your life, they're gonna be so hard. Now when I try to use all tools to get something, to achieve something, I see how many people hates me, how many people tell some bullshit, some stories that actually it's not even true.